My smart home kept randomly falling off Wi-Fi. Lights disconnecting, cameras disappearing, devices just vanishing. Not like that. Off my network, which makes absolutely no sense because I have gigabit fiber internet and a $1,500 mesh Wi-Fi system. So naturally, I did the most reasonable thing possible. I ripped it all out and replaced it with the kind of network businesses use. Yes, in my house. And I know how that sounds. But do you want to know the really crazy part? Somehow, it cost less. To explain why I ended up putting business Wi-Fi in my house, we had to talk about what broke it in the first place. My internet wasn't slow, my Wi-Fi signal wasn't weak, my router wasn't broken. At least not in a way you normally think of as broken. It turned out my network was full. And if you're like me and you're saying, I didn't know that was a thing, well, you are in good company. Most consumer routers, yes, even incredibly expensive mesh systems like this one, quietly stop working correctly once you hit about 100 connected devices. Not because the internet itself stops working, but because the router starts doing this juggling act where it kicks off one device from the network to make room for another. And what makes it extra maddening is it doesn't announce that fact. It doesn't pop up a warning that says, "Congratulations, you have purchased too many light bulbs." It just starts misbehaving. 100 devices sounds like an insane number until you really begin to count what's in your home. Every person in your house probably has 4 or 5 connected devices before you even start talking about smart home gear. And for me, the final straw was smart Christmas lights. Here's the part that really annoys me. When you outgrow a consumer mesh system, you can't upgrade a little bit of it. You have to replace the whole thing. Every few years if you want to keep up with technology, again and again. Do you remember when I said I spent $1,500 on this mesh system? Well, here it is. And here's another one just like it. Because when I wanted to upgrade from Wi-Fi 6 to Wi-Fi 6E, the upgrade part was not swap apart. The upgrade path was buy an entirely new ecosystem and hope this one doesn't also decide it hates your house in 2 years. Altogether, this is about $3,000 worth of routers that I've had over the past 6 years or so. Not because they broke, but because this became obsolete, and now so is this. I was buying Wi-Fi like it was a subscription service, and I'm tired of it. So instead of buying another consumer mesh setup, I did something that sounds unreasonable until you're standing in Best Buy staring at another $1,500 box. I built infrastructure. And I know, that sounds ridiculous. It sounded ridiculous to me too. But once you understand what's actually happening inside most home routers, this starts to make a lot more sense. This is a UniFi access point. You've probably seen these before without realizing it. They live on ceilings in offices, restaurants, schools, hotels. Basically, any place where hundreds and hundreds of devices need Wi-Fi and nobody wants to think about it ever again. That's my home now. Yep, my house is officially a small business. Only when my friends come over, I won't make them sign an NDA and scan their NFC badge to get to the break room. At the center of everything is this, the UniFi Dream Machine Special Edition. Consider this the brain of the network. It handles routing, security, and network managing. It can even grow because it can also handle security cameras. It even has a hard drive to store that data locally if you do have UniFi cameras. It has a ton of Ethernet ports, including what's called Power over Ethernet, or PoE ports, which matters because that means it can directly power some devices without separate injectors or wall plugs. Then I added 3 of these UniFi access points around the house. These are the things that actually broadcast the Wi-Fi. Each access point only has a single Ethernet cable spot. That's what provides both the internet and power. No need for wall plugs, and because they're hardwired, each one is basically a very strong local Wi-Fi source where you need it, instead of one router screaming across your entire home and hoping for the best. And finally, I added a PoE switch. Power over Ethernet, remember? Now you may not need this if you only have a couple of access points and your house lets you run cable straight from here to the Dream Machine and power them. I added this because I wanted cleaner wiring and the option to expand, and my home doesn't always allow for that kind of wiring. Because admittedly, at some point, you're gonna have to start asking questions like, do I want to run Ethernet through the attic? And the answer might become something like, maybe, but only if I'm fueled by self-loathing and ready to have a breakdown while trying to fish a wire between walls. I pulled that off for 2 of these. In this case, this lets me connect a whole bunch of stuff in one area without having to run Ethernet cords through all my ceilings. It's a little messier, but it works. But here's the wild part. Do you remember how that other mesh system with its 3 routers was about $1,500? The total cost for all of these, including 3 AP access points, was about $1,000. And this can handle thousands of devices. Thousands. I am not hitting that limit again. Consumer mesh is a sealed appliance. When it's time to upgrade, you replace the appliance, the entire system. With this setup, when Wi-Fi 7 or Wi-Fi 8 or Wi-Fi 12 shows up someday, I don't have to replace the whole network. I swap just the access point. The core stays. The wiring stays. The system grows. Appliances get replaced. Infrastructure can be expanded. Currently, I have Wi-Fi 6. If I want to go Wi-Fi 7 with the same number of access points as I currently have, it would only cost me between $200 and $500 depending on some details. And I don't have to buy all 3. I could just do 1 or 2 or buy 3 over time. But there is a catch. This is business hardware. And out of the box, it is not configured for homes. If you set it up the default way, it will work. Sort of. But smart home devices will probably hate it. And if you're doing this because your smart home is falling apart, the last thing you want is to spend $1,000 only to end up with different weird problems. So let me show you the changes that made the biggest difference for a home. They're not exotic. They're not go get a networking certification settings kind of thing. It's mostly just checkboxes. These are just a handful of things that take UniFi from office Wi-Fi to smart home Wi-Fi. The first thing I did was turn off Wi-Fi AI. UniFi used to call this auto-optimize, and a lot of older guys still use that name. Now it lives under Wi-Fi settings as Wi-Fi AI or nightly channel optimization. The idea is that your network automatically scans and tweaks itself to improve performance. And it sounds helpful, but it's not helpful at all for smart homes. Because this means your Wi-Fi is quietly changing channels and behavior in the background. And smart home devices hate surprise Wi-Fi changes. They reconnect slowly or badly, or they just give up and disappear. Turning this off immediately made my network more stable. The second change sounds unintuitive. I lowered the transmit power of my access points. That's how hard and wide these broadcast the Wi-Fi. That feels backwards because more power sounds like better Wi-Fi. But too much power actually makes devices cling to far access points instead of switching to the closer one. So your phone ends up stubbornly talking to an access point on the other side of the house, even though there's a better one right next to you. Once I lowered transmit power, devices started roaming better. When I walked around the house, my iPad stayed connected, streaming stopped hiccuping. Everything felt a little more consistent. Sometimes less is more. And the third change will also help with that. You're going to want to enable fast roaming. This lives in Wi-Fi network advanced settings. Fast roaming helps phones and laptops hand off between access points smoothly as you move around the house. Before this, if I was walking around my home with a Zoom call going up, it was kind of a gamble. Now it just works. The fourth change is a big one that most UniFi guides don't mention for home users. I took the 5 GHz channel, which is the faster of the 2 channels you get in Wi-Fi these days, and I set its width to 80 MHz. Now if you don't know what that means, I understand. It's a lot of weird technical goobity-gawk talk, and I'll simplify it to a point that's kind of incorrect but gives you the sort of right idea. Think of your Wi-Fi as moving in waves, and wider waves will do a better job of pushing things faster, but because they're wider, are more likely to hit other waves that happen to be out in the world. Out of the box, UniFi often uses narrower channels, smaller waves, because business environments are crowded with Wi-Fi networks, and that way you'll get less interference. At home, you want wider channels for better speed. That change alone is why I can now see Wi-Fi speeds that are basically gigabit. When I do a speed test on my laptop, I routinely see speeds around 900 megabits over Wi-Fi, which still feels ridiculous to say out loud. The fifth change really surprised me. I turned off wireless meshing. And I know that sounds strange because consumer routers have trained us to think mesh is a good thing and the whole point. But UniFi access points are usually wired back to your router or switch, unless you buy specific ones that aren't. If you run Ethernet to them, they don't need to mesh wirelessly. Leaving it enabled just adds overhead, which slows it down and may cause weird behavior. If you ran the cables, use the cables, it's always faster. After making these changes, my network basically disappeared in the best way possible. No more random disconnects, no more device juggling, no more need to replace the entire system every few years. My Wi-Fi is basically invisible now, which is exactly how infrastructure should feel. Now, is this for everyone? Oh no. If you live in a small apartment and you have a handful of devices, you probably don't need to turn your home into a small business. You can keep your consumer router and live a happy, normal life. But if your home has slowly become a smart home, and your Wi-Fi has slowly become unreliable, and you are tired of spending big, huge monies on systems that still have invisible limits and forced upgrades, this is worth considering. I'm not saying this is cheap, but it did actually cost less than some of the best mesh network gear out there. I never expected my smart home to push me into business networking. But honestly, personally, I wish I'd done it years ago. I do have links to all of the hardware I use down in the description if you want to see exactly what I bought or how to build a similar setup. And if this video helped you understand why your Wi-Fi might be getting worse instead of better, please consider hitting that subscribe button. This channel is basically me figuring out how to make technology behave the way it should have behaved in the first place, or the occasional interesting review and some DIY projects like this clock one that's pretty cool. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye!